All right, guys, I want to welcome you to the Tribe team call tonight. I am super, super excited to be on this call with you guys. My name is Makala Clark. It says I'm Breezy, but it's actually Makala. I am a two-star diamond qualifying right now. It should be official the week of the 4th of July, which is super exciting. I started coaching. I signed up about 18 months ago, but I didn't really dive in until about a year ago in January. And so ever since then, I kind of just, that was when I made the decision that if I was going to do this, I was going to go all in. I was going to listen to what I was told, and I was just going to learn from leaders like Breezy and Brigida and our other upline, and I was just going to take it and run with it. And so that's kind of how I got started. So Breezy asked me to speak on consistency, and at first, I was kind of like, well, that's kind of a boring subject. Like, I don't know. I'm just a little consistent person. But the more I sat down and thought about it, I thought, you know what? It's actually a subject we really need to talk about because consistency is super, super important if you're going to be in this business for the long run. I always tell all my coaches that I'm a lifer, that this is something I'm going to do when I'm 80 years old. I just love what I do. And it's because I found this consistency and I found this way to reach success and to continue to grow. And so I want to share that with you all tonight. I don't have any slides, which is totally not me at all. I am a person who loves to take notes and loves to have slides and visuals. But every time I sat down to, make up slides or do anything like that, I just couldn't figure out how to piece it together. And so tonight I really just want to kind of speak from my heart, tell you guys, what's worked for me, and I hope maybe there's something in there for you that you can take away and just run with. So I kind of touched a little bit about my story. When I first signed up as a coach, I didn't really do a whole lot. I played around a lot on my computer, and I would classify reading personal development as reading Pinterest quotes on Pinterest. I would, count liking people's pictures as an invite. And I didn't show up every day. There were ups and downs, and there were days that I showed up and days that I didn't. And so it really wasn't until January when I caught the vision and I just decided that I was going to do the things that I was taught. So first off, I want to give you a little analogy. I'm sure you have heard it. It's from the famous Zig Ziglar. He talks about the old well pump and how when you start to pump a well, you have to really work at it, and you're going and you're just pumping this well, but nothing is coming out. Nothing is coming out. And sometimes what happens is people give up, right? Like they're pumping, and it just seems like their efforts are going nowhere, and so they quit. They give up. They're like, you know what, I'll go figure something else out. There's got to be something easier. This is just not working. And then there's other people, who stay on that pump. They're just pumping, and they're consistently, moving that lever up and down. And all of a sudden what happens? The water begins to flow. And I was listening to a talk today actually by Darren Hardy, who was talking about the well analogy. And he was talking about what happens is that sometimes people get that water flowing, and then they leave on a 2-week vacation. And they go and do things, and they come back, and all of a sudden, guess what they have to do? They have to restart to pump that well again because they didn't keep it consistently going. And so what I want to talk to you guys about is the fact is so many times when we're new coaches, I was this way. I wanted to just go as fast and as hard as I could right out the gates, and I was pumping my little guts out. But I really wasn't listening. I was doing the things I thought I was supposed to be doing, but in reality, they weren't the behaviors I needed to be doing to create a successful business. And so I was pumping as hard as I could, and nothing was working. And so what I want to kind of, let you guys know is as a coach, you really need to pick your pace. You don't have to be the tortoise. You can be the hare, but it doesn't matter. What you have to do is you have to pick this pace that you can keep up with, but it also is going to push you. So you don't want it to be something that you're slow and you sit and you're just like, well, it's okay, it'll happen when it happens. Like, you've got to work for it. But you also don't want to burn yourself out, pumping your little guts out to the point that you're just like, I just don't know if I can do this anymore. And there are times when you have to pump your guts out. But if you can just, for the most part, just continuously just stay steady, you're going to see this growth that you never even imagined. I just really don't want coaches to fizzle, because I know it happens. Like I said, you pump your hearts out and then nothing comes, so you give up and quit, and you never hear from these coaches again. Or, you don't know if you can go on anymore because you just don't know how much your little body can do, So just try and find the pace that works for you, If you can only work your business, an hour in the morning and an hour at night, that's enough. I mean, that's enough for you. If you can give it more, great. But as long as you can just give it all you can, that's all that matters. So how do you figure out how to be consistent? Because we hear people say, 3 vital behaviors, and sometimes, I'm not going to lie, it's hard to get into the groove of doing your 3 vital behaviors every single day. We all have one area of the 3 vital behaviors that probably is one that you dread. Like some people, they dread, not dread, I guess, but they struggle with getting that personal development in, or they struggle with finding time to fit their workout in. Even though they want to and they have good intentions, sometimes it's just, you have that one area you struggle with. So what it all comes down to is it starts with your why. Do you have a why? If you can comment, do you know your why? Do you really know? Just say yes if you know your why. Like deep down, genuinely, you know why you signed up to do this. Does anybody have their why? Okay, so you have to have a why, you guys. You have to. And I see that some people do have their why, and that is great. If you do not have a why, you're going to struggle, because you've got to know, why are you getting up at 5 a.m. when you could be sleeping in? Why are you getting up? Why are you showing up daily? Why are you putting yourself out there for people to tell you no? Because I'll tell you, when I first started, if someone told me no, I shut my computer off and I went and balled on my couch, because I didn't quite have my why figured out, and I took it personally, and I didn't know. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to help people. I knew I wanted to help my family, but I didn't have the vision yet. And so you need to dig as deep as you can and find out exactly why you are going through the ups and downs of coaching. You all know that coaching is not just this easy ride, right? Like, you don't just sign up as a coach, announce that you're a Beachbody coach, now all of a sudden all these people are coming to you, right? Like, most of the time we hear crickets, and we're the ones that have to step out of our comfort zones, and we have to put ourselves out there and be vulnerable and, ask people to join us. And so you've got to figure out why you're showing up every single day. Why are you on this call tonight? Why do you jump on Monday's National Wake Up Call? Because if you're just doing it to do it, you're not going to get very far. Until you establish your why, you will probably struggle with consistency. Because if you don't know your why, you obviously don't know why it's important or why you should be doing it. Because obviously it's something you have to know. So I have this quote that I love that says, if you're not making the progress that you would like to make and are capable of making, it is simply because your goals are not clearly defined. And so if you have these goals that you know what you're out to accomplish, you're going to keep working towards that because you believe and you know. And maybe you don't know how it's going to happen, but you trust the process. You trust what our leaders put in front of us. You trust those trainings that we're given, and you say, I'm just going to do what they teach me. I'm going to believe that it's possible, and I'm going to do it every single day. So you need to show up every single day to your business. You have to treat this like a business. I know we talk about it's a life. You can live a life by design. You build in the cracks of your days, which is totally true. I do it in the cracks of my days. However, I still do it every single day. I show up consistently, even on days when I really don't want to. Yes, there are some days that I just wake up thinking, I'm just going to take the day off. But I've gotten into this habit where I feel guilty if I don't do the things that I've been taught. So it all comes down to 3 vital behaviors. You have to make them non-negotiable every single day. You have to make them a habit. And once they become a habit, like I said, I feel guilty if I lay down at night and I haven't sent any messages out, because I know that that's what's going to move me forward and keep me on the path to my goals and to helping other people. So tonight I'm going to give you my tips with how to be consistent in the 3 vital behaviors. I will say, I don't know, maybe in the comments if you could answer this. Like I said before, we all kind of struggle with one area of 3 vital behaviors. Do you guys know, do you have one that you really struggle with? Do you struggle with the invitation process? Do you struggle with working out daily, personal development? Like, do any of you struggle with, do you have one, or do you think you struggle with them as a whole? Inviting, someone says inviting. Oh, you guys are my people, because that is like the one that I've struggled with the most. Yes, inviting. Okay, so cool. We're all on the same page, which makes me so happy. Okay, so first we're going to talk about being proof of the product. Sorry. When I signed up as a coach, I was already doing Insanity. And so being proof of the product wasn't a struggle for me because I had already seen what Beachbody could do for me. I have already seen what, and so I had already made it a priority. But, before I found that, I probably would have struggled with being proof because I struggled for a long time, and I'm sure you have clients that struggle with feeling selfish if they take time out of their day to work out. Because sometimes, and sorry to the men that are listening if you're here, but sometimes as women, we really feel like we can't take any time for ourselves because that would be selfish because we're supposed to be the givers and we're supposed to be the lovers and we're supposed to be the homemakers and we're supposed to be doing service for everybody. And so we get this mentality, like, well, if I do that, then I'm taking time away from helping, so-and-so. But if you can really get in the mindset of being proof of the product and sharing your journey, people are going to be watching you and they're going to see your example and they're going to follow that. So I want to encourage you to come out of the Beachbody closet and be proud of the products and the things that we have to offer. I was on a call yesterday with Carl Deichler, and he was talking about how, I don't know if you've seen this, he has posted his Shakeology every single day on his Facebook page since January 1st. And he had a few people message him that were like, enough already, we know, we get it, you like Shakeology, just stop. And he said, no, I will never stop, because what if tomorrow someone got on that had never heard of the product and it totally changed their life? And so you have to think of you have to think of things that way. Like, your social media, your sharing is always a revolving door of new people coming in and seeing your information. And so while we don't want you to be salesy and we don't want you to post a bunch, I really encourage you to share those things that are ingrained in your life with, Shakeology and working out, because that, again, is going to touch people. It's going to spark their interest. They want to know what you're doing. Another thing I really want to talk about is sticking with program. I know as coaches it can be easy to bounce around from program to program, but I can tell you my most successful months are the months that I'm sticking to a program and I have people following my journey of me doing just one program. And so, I did Insanity Max 30 and I completed it and I had results and people saw my beginning to end. And while hybrid programs are great and while doing PIO today and Brazil butt lift tomorrow is really great because obviously they're great programs. If you can, number one, people aren't going to go out and buy all these different programs, right? Like, we do have Beachbody on demand, but generally people go out and buy one program. And so they're going to want to see your start to finish. They want to see you consistently progressing and moving forward in your health and fitness journey. So, if you don't use our products and truly believe in them, why would anyone else? And that's what it comes down to. I know being proof of the product is usually fairly simple for people. So just try to share it more with others so that they can see what is helping you. Because I think there's sometimes you assume people know what you're doing, and they really don't. And so you want to make sure people know the tools that you're using in your life. So I'm going to move on to invites because that's what majority said was their struggle. It was my struggle. It still is my struggle. One of the things I've learned, people have taught me, is to change, if the word invite scares you, to change it to share. And I love that. I love to say that I shared today with, certain people because sharing, it's just not as scary. when you're inviting, this is what I've kind of had to talk myself into. I don't know if you guys have read Eat That Frog, but he basically talks about the thing that you hate the most, the thing that you struggle with the most, you need to do that first thing in the morning. Because what happens, I don't know if you guys do your invites during, what your hours are like, but if I don't do my invites at the beginning of my day, all I do is let it sit and fester in my mind. All I do is dwell on the fact that I have to invite these people, and I just worry about what they're going to say, and are they going to say no? And then, by the time I get around to inviting them, I've talked myself out of messaging certain people that I've been, kind of in the front of my mind that I should message them. I've talked myself out of it because I've been justifying all day long why I shouldn't invite them. I know it sounds silly. I don't know if anyone else struggles with that, but that's my story about inviting. And so what I've learned is I have to make a list, and I have to tell myself, you have to talk to 3 people today, this morning, before you do anything else. Another thing, you can't overcomplicate it. You have to treat it just simple, like you're messaging a friend, because that's what they are. If you're genuine and just, sending out hey girls daily, you're going to start creating these relationships and these friendships. And while it may seem slow, developing these relationships is so important. Some people will jump in right away. Other people, will take time. I have coaches on my team who took a whole year of forming with them and getting to know them before they, trusted me to take this leap of faith. So do not fall off the invitation process. If that is what you struggle with, this is my number 1 tip for consistency. If you struggle with invitation process, that is the one thing you cannot let slide any day of the week. I know some people take Sunday off, which is fine. I only work 6 days a week too. So, or 5, but whatever your set hours are, you cannot fall off of that, because what happens? It's kind of like riding a horse. If you don't jump back on that horse right after you fall off or get bucked off, you let fear and doubt creep into your mind, and then you start doing the things I mentioned earlier. And then it becomes harder to message people because you haven't done it. And I will say inviting gets easier the more you do it. It's one of those things that you kind of have to you can read scripts, you can hear what other people are doing, but until you just do it yourself and learn from the experience, you're not going to know. So you've just got it every single day. So I want you to pick a number, 3 minimum, of how many people you are going to reach out to every single day. And then how many of those people are you going to invite to a group, or to invite to join you on this journey that we're in, or that you're going to invite to coach with you. I tell my coaches this all the time. Your messages are kind of like rollover minutes. I don't know if you remember rollover minutes from back in the day with cell phones. You had so many minutes, and if you didn't use them, they would roll over to the next month so you could use them. And so that's what you're doing when you're messaging, every single day you're messaging new people and forming new relationships, is you're continuing to build this bank of potential clients, of, people that you're connecting with, and eventually they're going to roll over into becoming clients. They're going to roll over into becoming coaches. But it all has to start with your invite, and you can't overcomplicate it. I also believe that part of invitation process, while it's not the invitation process, I don't want anyone to get confused, part of the invitation process is consistently posting on your social media. I don't know. I personally aim to post 3 times a day on my Facebook page. And you need to figure out what you are able to do, because people are watching you. Brigitte Linford stalked Scotty Hobbs for 7 or 8 months, I believe. She wasn't even friends with him on Facebook, and she followed his every move on Facebook. She was watching him. She was seeing what he was doing with his business, and you will have people that are watching you. And so you have to be consistently present and in the forefront of their mind. You don't want to let your clients, potential coaches, question your coaching, because we all have those friends, that say, hey, I'm doing this business, and then you never hear from them again, or you never see any information about it. And so you never want your clients or your potential clients to question, like, well, is she a coach? Did she quit? I haven't seen anything from her for a few weeks. You know, I have this other friend that I really don't know on Facebook, but she is always posting information. She's always sharing her story with us, and so I would love to go with her. I just really don't think she's coaching anymore, so I'm going to go over to this person over here. You don't want that to happen. You never want people to question if you're all in or not. And I know we have vacations and we go places where we're off the grid, but you need to think about how you're going to make up for that while you're gone. Are you going to schedule posts there? Are you going to create a banner letting people know, hey, I'm just out of the office. I promise when I have service, I'll get with you. But you have to have a game plan. You can't just all of a sudden go off the grid. You have to, I mean, this is a business, and so you're going to have to think ahead of those things. And so you just don't want to lose people because you weren't consistently posting. You want to be sharing your life. You want to be gaining trust and consistently showing up. There is a coach on Team Fork Fitness. Her name is Morgan. She every Sunday posts a Sabbath selfie. And I love this story because 1 week they didn't post. I think they were sick or something. And she was getting messages. And people were writing on her page, freaking out, wondering, you know, is she okay? Because they hadn't seen her Sabbath selfie. So that goes to show you, because she consistently did that every single Sunday, people were watching. People saw that, and they thought, you know, how fun is that? And so I know sometimes we worry that, oh, I posted too many selfies, or, excuse me, or maybe, you know, your workout, they're sick of seeing your workout. Do you guys follow Melanie Mitro, #1 coach? She posts a workout picture every single morning. Every single morning. And it's not usually a whole lot different. She usually shares a little motivation with it and stuff. So don't be afraid to do those things and share who you are, because those people that, you know, unfollow, that's okay. They'll come back. But there are people that are still watching you that need to see that you're being consistent, that need to see that you're not only talking the talk, but you're walking the walk. You're doing the things that you're encouraging other people to do. The last one is personal development. You need to be consistently growing and learning. You can't just go through the motions. You have to apply them. I know there have been times that I'll pop in a Shalene Show podcast into my ear, and I'll be doing the dishes, and I walk away from it like, I have no idea what she just said. And I could totally, you know, justify it. Well, I did listen to it. No, you have to listen to it and apply. And that's one of the reasons I make my coaches check in with an aha moment for the day, because I want to know what they're getting out of their personal development. I want to know, are they just saying they're doing it, but they're really not applying it to their life, or are they really listening and doing those things that they, you know, that have sparked an interest in them, that have lit the fire inside of them, that are ready to just, you know, that they want to implement into their life. You need to find personal development that faces your fears head on. So if you struggle with invitation process, or you struggle with being vulnerable, or you struggle with confidence, you're not going to really get much from a book about YouTube, or a book about, you know, leadership. If that's not what you're going to learn from it, but you need to target your personal development towards what you're struggling with. Because you've got to face those fears, because if you don't take care of them, they will just sit there, and they will grow, and they will build, and they will just start to spread, and the self-doubt will creep in, and it's not worth it, you guys. You have to find personal development that's going to help you with what you're dealing with. Another form of personal development is team calls, like this one. When I started coaching, I think I never missed a team call till probably like 14 months into the business. I never missed one, ever, which I know people have lives. I know we have things that we have to do, and if you catch the recordings, that's great. I knew for me personally, I would never watch the recording if I didn't listen to it live. That's just how my personality is. I knew that if I didn't get on live, I wouldn't probably make it a priority the rest of the week because I would let other things get in the way. And so I was consistently on every single national wake-up call, every single tribe call. It wasn't the tribe then, but every single tribe call. I was on every single Team Forward Fitness call. I was on every single bombshell call. And I know that sounds like a lot, but I can tell you by upping my personal development game and by being on calls that really inspired me, I was able to move my business forward. I was able to find consistency. I was able to just move my business forward. So let's see. The most important thing about being consistent in your business and how you're going to find that is your mindset. Your mindset is key. What you think occurs. This isn't hard unless you think it is. So, yeah, invitation process is scary. Yeah, it can be hard. But if you're in this mentality that it's hard, it will always be hard. If you always tell yourself, I'm not good at inviting people, I just can't make connections, guess what? You're not going to be able to connect with people. You're not going to be able to do those things because you believe them, and people can see that. You think, oh, it's through messaging, it's hard to read people. People can see those things. And so you have to change your mindset. You have to understand that you can do this. You can do hard things. Sometimes I have to tell myself, inviting is fun before I, 10 times before I write them, inviting is fun. Inviting is fun. Just to get myself into that mentality of, you know what, I can do this. Because if you tell yourself it's hard and you message people, but you honestly believe that they won't, you're messaging them, but you're like, they'll never be able to afford this. And you're messaging them thinking, oh, this is a waste. They're not going to message me back. It's going to happen. Because what you're going to put out there is this negativity, and they're not going to message you back. And then you're not going to hit your Success Club goals, and you're not going to reach the goals that you put in place because you have projected it out there. So make sure you change your mindset to something, positive and uplifting. If you struggle with getting your workout in, I love to work out. Working out is fun. I love Shaun T, just to give yourself that boost. You need to ask yourself, who do you need to be to attract others? You need to have and develop characteristics that embody the amazing coach you want to be. So I want you to look to the coach that you signed up underneath, your upline. What attracted you to them? Were they a person who sporadically posted that there was a Beachbody sale going on and you were like, oh, okay, sign me up? Or did you see that they were not only, talking about this business, you were witnessing this change in their life, and you wanted that too. And then you have to, in turn, embody that. You've got to be the coach that you want to attract. Because if you're wanting to attract rock star coaches who are wanting to build this business, then you have to start being a rock star coach. You've got to start doing the 3 vital behaviors. They're vital for a reason, right? We say that. Carl Deichler is not just saying do 3 vital behaviors because he thinks it's fun. He has watched his company and this business, and he sees these coaches. When I was in Cancun, I listened to the top 10, and the common theme was I did the 3 vital behaviors every single day. I showed up to my business every single day. And I looked at Breeze, and I'm like, wow, I've been making this complicated. And we kind of laughed because we were like, wow, we've overcomplicated this. But it's true. It's so easy that we tend to think, oh, it can't be that easy. I can't get this done in an hour. You can. You can totally get your invitation process in, your workout in, and some PD in an hour. Because invites don't have to take a long time. Bottom line, if you aren't moving forward, you are moving backwards. You can't gain momentum and maintain it unless you are consistent. And so we talked about the and we talk about different things, but my big thing is the compound effect. If you haven't read it, go out and get the book. Seriously, best book ever, my favorite. It talks all about consistency. It's going to help you be consistent. If you're not moving forward every single day, if you're not inviting new people every single day, you're not standing still. If you're to take a 2-week, you say you started out June really strong, and by the 10th you hit Success Club, and so you decided to take the whole rest of the month off. Excuse me. Well, that's really great. Are you moving forward? Is your business moving forward? No. Is it staying where it's at? Well, you have those points, but what happens when July 1st rolls around? Do you have people you can talk to, or is your business now struggling because you decided to take 2.5, 3 weeks off? So you have to really think about that when you're moving forward. Now, it's great when you hit that to kind of take your foot off the gas a little bit, but you've got to keep with the 3 vitals. You've got to at least talk to 3 new people every single day. That's just something I firmly believe you have to do in order to move forward. This business for me, hold on just a second. Okay, so you need to treat this business like it's your own. Are you a business owner, or are you just someone that shows up to work and is an employee? Well, I'll just clock in every day or so. I really won't do it. You've got to remember, little by little, a little becomes a lot. And so while it doesn't look like much is happening in your business, you see these ducks floating on the water, but what you don't see is their little feet paddling as fast as they can, right? That's what you're doing. You may not see this progress, but it's no different than your weight loss journey or your fitness journey. When you first started, I am sure there were days you were like, "Oh, I look in the mirror and I see no difference." I did the same thing, and I can tell you 2 years later, I've lost 35 pounds, and I've lost inches, and I've gained confidence. But if I would have quit 2 months in, I probably wouldn't still weigh what I did then. I would probably weigh more. And that's kind of how the business is too. If you don't keep taking steps forward every single day, you're going to slide back. And when you slide back, then you're back at square one and you've got to rebuild again. And so I want you guys to just continuously keep moving forward. Get out of your own way and trust the tools you have been given. The 3 vitals are vital for a reason. This business, I want you guys today to sit down and just when we get off the call, I want you to write down how many Facebook friends you have, okay? Write down, and then I want you to date this, and I want you to keep it. How many Facebook friends do you have? How many followers do you have, okay? I also want you to go in and look at, like, your downline. How many coaches do you have? And then I challenge you, in 6 months, go back and look at that again. How far have you come? Because that's going to show you your growth. Because sometimes it's hard to see it when it's right in front of us. But when we look at we compare, all of a sudden we realize that things have grown and things have moved forward way faster than we thought. When I started out, last year at Summit, I was a brand new diamond coach. It was me and my coach. We went, it was kind of just on faith that we needed to be there. And, a year later, I am a 2-star qualifying. I have 8 of my own personally sponsored coaches going to Nashville with me. I've only seen my amazing team grow. They're becoming leaders. And so you can gauge those things to see that you really are, those little things that you're doing every single day, they really matter. You just have to trust the process. You have to understand that showing up every day really does matter, and just keep being consistent. So keep moving towards your goals, and when you look back in a year, you'll be shocked to see how far you truly have come. So I want to thank you guys for getting on with me. I hope you got something out of this. If not, thank you for humoring me and staying on the call. I really hope that you can implement something here. If you have any questions, you can type them in really quick. If not, feel free to private message me, to tag me in a comment in the tribe if you need to. I love to help other coaches, and I think that's one of my favorite things of coaching. So I'm here if anyone needs me. So if no questions, I can let you go and enjoy your night. All right. Thanks, guys.